Morning there, guys and gals. Cup of coffee. You know, we kind of need that in the morning. So, we were mowing. Then it got extremely poopy out. So, anyway, we have discovered something, a couple things, that was unseen YouTube gold, if you will. Let me kick on the lights and we'll just shed a little light on the subject. So, one thing we discovered is banditas. I don't know why. I've been trying to find out. The speedometer, she reads like I'm going 22 miles an hour no matter how fast I'm going. Pretty sure that's not correct. So that's another YouTube gold we're gonna find out. And secondly, you ever have a project done that you thought was done, and then you realized that it's not done? I'm not talking about banditas. The old I'm not talking about bandito. Yep, I'm talking about the IROC, the mullet machine. So, for those of you that don't know, we have fought with those gauges. We've replaced three of the gauges. So, me being me, positive type feller, I was positive that the gauge was incorrect on the oil pressure. I've said it actually in my videos before, that the oil pressure gauge doesn't work. Whenever I bought the car, it was unplugged. I found the reason why. So we're driving, we're jamming to like 80s music in town, right? Top down, 5-speed, just, we're letting her eat a little bit, you know? That little 305, just, all 225 ponies over, just, well, I mean, it was roaring for what it was. Okay, let's just be real. It wasn't like cooking or anything, but you know what I'm saying. It's got a good sounding exhaust. You keep it in low gear, make it sound like it's just meaner and crap. Anyway, so we're sitting at a red light for like 3 seconds after we just fed her the onions a little bit. And the car died. And the way it cut off, it was electrical. I think some of you guys know what I mean. It wasn't a ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. It was a boom. I'm looking around, I was like, what the world? The computer shut the car down because it had that many oil pressures. It turns out now I've replaced the switch, the sending unit, now the gauge, and I've checked it with mechanical type gauge. Cold, we're looking about 8 PSI. Yep, we drove this sucker 40 minutes. So we drove this thing 40 minutes to work with 8 PSI. Just to break this in perspective for you, the hotter the oil gets, the lower the oil pressure goes. And in this particular sense, you know. And you're supposed to have 1,000 RPMs and 10 PSI for every 1,000. So let's just say, for argument's sake, I don't even have enough for 1,000 RPMs. I have a 5-speed. I have a decent gear. It's a 342. Thank God it's not a 411. We had to burn that sucker up on the way to work because she'd have been screaming at like 4,000 RPM at the speed I was going. And, yep, not a clank, not a rattle, not anything. That motor is quiet. Why? Anyway, I digress. We're moving forward, and we're not going to rip it apart until we have a motor for it. And this is a kind of a surprise, I guess. I wasn't planning to do this yet. This was a build it in a couple years whenever you got this thing running, that thing running, and then just kind of flirt with this one a little bit, you know? Tear it apart, throw a cam in it, and bearings if you need to, whatever, you know. But, you know, I was thinking, and I think you guys are going to agree, the car's already a non-numbers matching car, correct? Oh, somebody said, okay. Yes, we are. We are going to do exactly what every one of you is saying. 5.3. We're swapping it. I just happened to pick up this particular motor last year, very, very reasonably. And we're going to bust them apart and see what all we need to do to it. Now, in conjunction with that, we are doing the Holley Sniper conversion. Why? Is that really a question? One, we love fuel injection. We hate carburetors. I hate carburetors. I do. They were good for their time. Time's up. Sorry, not sorry. I hate carburetors with a passion. I wake up an hour earlier just to hate carburetors that much more. Now, they're cool looking on old cars, you know what I mean? I've dealt with them. I can actually work on them. I just don't prefer them. Because I want to be able to put this motor in that car and drive it wherever the heck I want. Drive it to the mountains, not have to worry about readjusting your carburetor or whatever. Not having random spits and sputters. You know what I mean? Not having cold-natured. Yeah, I said it. Cold-natured. Every one of you guys know what I'm talking about. Electric chokes, manual chokes, flood and spark plugs. It happens. So, we are going to rebuild this. This is your run-of-the-mill 2007 1500 series. That's what it come out of. Chevy truck. I was told that it had real bad lifter knock. Now, I had an 05 that had this exact type motor. I don't know if it had the same heads or not. It's very, very common for a lifter knock in these. I've heard several, and I am not worried that it's not lifter knock. We have 706 heads, which are one of the most common heads you can get. We're going to try to keep this original high mount. We're going to try. And we're keeping the AC bracket for right now. I don't know. I don't know if it hits anything. We may have to switch some stuff around. Eventually, I would like to put AC back on this car. So we're going to flirt with it and see what happens. See if it hits, that bracket's got to go. We'll have to switch around all kind of goodies there. I don't know. I've never swapped one. This will actually be, well, I guess technically my second LS swap, thanks to Banditas. But we just swapped the whole front end K-member, the whole shebang bang. By the way, if you guys have never driven a 6-speed with the little hockey puck style clutches, whew, son, they grip. They are way more gooder than stock. I'm talking, you let off the floor like this much and that clutch is engaged now. And you climb on, you better hold on. It's a pretty impressive, and I can gladly say no clunks, no clanks, no bangs, no nothing on this car. The 6-speed, luckily, I did luck out. You kind of luck out if you don't know who you buy from. It's just the truth. But that thing, 100% good to go. I'm driving it to work like all week. Rain, not snow, shine, doesn't matter. Fall leaves, all that. We're driving it. But anyway, what we're going to do first, instead of just tear it down, so we can keep our gadgets a little clean. And this is just disgustingly dirty. Who said that? Who? Back there in the back. Did you say that? Power washing it? Abso-friggin-lutely. Because we're tearing it all the way down anyway, aren't we? Yeah. Now, we will probably, more than likely, cover up these ports. When I say more than likely, we're going to cover up those ports. We don't want any unnecessary kind of stuff. Now we are pulling the valves. Yep. We're putting new valve springs in it, the whole shebang bang. This is going to be a good cam replacement. I'm going to leave you guys linger on what kind of cam you think that we're putting in this. FYI, we are keeping the T5. I know. I should look for a T56. I really should. But we have other projects. I mean, how many times I gotta say it? We got other projects. We just can't. Okay, we can, but we're just not going to. We gotta get a T56 for this burger now, you know, because a lot more impressive whenever somebody sees a 6-speed or something on it, or at least a standard shift. But anyway, we're going T5, 5.3, sniper. Throw your guesses down on what you think that cam's going to be. I will let you know. And you know how I always say shop marketplace? Right there is an F-body oil pan. And yep, she's brand newish. Brand newish. Comes with the oil pickup tube and all relocation, all that good jazz. I got that for 105 doll hairs. You cannot beat that. That's a bargain. Maybe it was $100. Whatever it was worth it. So even though I had to drive back to go get the right pan. But that's another story. He made it right. We're good. And I appreciate him for doing that. And I'm going to spare you guys. I just wanted you to see how cruddy this is before. And you're going to see how clean it comes after. Now, I have already hit it with the engine gunk, bright stuff. I've hit it with this stuff already. And we've just let it marinate for like 2 or 3 days because I couldn't help myself. But I'm going to pressure wash it. You guys will see what it is. We're going to bust the heads off of it. I don't know. We may go ahead and tap into that oil pan there. See what our main and rods look like. Just hoping feller was right with us and didn't lie. I hope. We got lucky here. Hopefully we'll get lucky there. All right. Stick around. We're going to see what comes next. All right. Guys and gals, we pressure washed it. And you know how I said we used the gunk engine builder? Well, man, this camera looks... I don't know if I spray painted that. Did I? No? Okay, you can see good. All right, anyway. So I used the engine gunk stuff, and it, like, did not do this great. I'm going to bust all this apart. You notice they didn't block off any of that like I was going to. I said to myself, I said, self, we are actually tearing this whole complete motor apart. I'm going to end up rewashing those heads anyway, with the valves out, all of that. Replacing springs. Yep, you heard it. Replacing springs. Hopefully you guys can hear me with the fan just a roaring in the background. It's sticky now. I mean, the weather warmed up. We washed the floor. It's just... Here, I'll back away just a little bit. So, we could have done what I said we was going to do, but I didn't. And the reason why is I'm just going to rip it apart anyway. Now, the thing that really cleaned this motor up like this, are you ready? Now, don't use this on a motor that you have in a car that you're currently driving, because I have heard that it eats gaskets. We got some good old 409 oven cleaner. That stuff absolutely, positively makes aluminum look great. And it eats. Let it set for like 10-15 minutes. And look at that. Will you just look at it? Now, spray it off. You don't want that stuff to sit there and just marinate and eat all the time. But we're going to go ahead and start. We're going to bust out this. We're going to take this plate off. Valve covers. Heads. Motor mount, why not? Oh, hello, there I am. The front engine pulleys. We're going to keep all this intact together. We're just going to pull these bolts, set it down as a bracket, water pumpage, crankage. We're going to see what we got to work with. Judging by this oil filter, he thought he was taking care of it because he got a Fram Gold, but you know, I just don't care for Fram. There's plenty of reasons why. They're not gooder, boys and girls. They're just not. Your lowest level, like STP type filter, is better than a Fram. Don't think that you're getting a safeguard filter and going to be great, okay? If you don't believe me, just watch videos. I promise you there's plenty of videos out on Fram filters. But we're going to bust most of this apart with this right here. And we're just going to see what's what. Sound good? All right, let's get her stripped. Okay, I never thought I'd be excited to see engine failure, but this is exactly what we wanted to see. Let me get a flashlight and show you. We have absolute 100% lifter failure. Yep. And I mean bad. Like, not gooder. Can you see that? Look at that cam. It is all chewed up. That very first lobe. Man, I can't get this camera just to look right. The whole lifter has just, it's bad. It's broke. It's not gooder. So we did not get light 2 on it so far. It is 100% cam failure. The lifter has just fallen apart. That's what we want to see. Let's keep digging. Let's see how bad it is, all right? And now I'm excited, all right? Just, yeah. All right, guys. The heads are so crystal clear on this thing. Look at those. Somebody really did take care of this engine, which is a major, major plus. Which brings me to my next point. Let's just say you're doing a cam swap. Okay, you've pulled all this stuff off because you got to get behind here anyway, right? What you're going to want to do is rotate this motor 2 revolutions over. And what that is supposed to do is lock these lifters up out of the way. And there's another little trick I'll have to show you underneath this timing cover, because I can already tell you the one that has failed is not cooperating. It's going to fall into the oil pan, okay? Which reminds me, I think I need to drain the oil because it had coolant in it. Yep, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Rip off this front part of the engine, and I'm going to show you another little trick with some dowel pins. Well, where to put them, because I actually don't have the dowel pins. All right, so give me a few minutes. One thing I forgot to mention, whenever you're using or tearing apart the 5348 LS, whatever, you're going to need a 3-jaw puller, something like this fella right here, to pull that crank off of there. Okay, I end up using, I think, I took the bolt out of the crank, which I started pulling it with that bolt, and it wasn't long enough to like get the darn thing all the way off. So I end up taking a 1/2-inch drive. Yeah, I said it. A 1/2-inch drive extension, probably about 6 inches long, I think it was, and then took a bolt and put it in the end where the socket goes, and then that's how I got it the rest of the way off of there. But I realized I didn't tell you guys how to get the thing off there. That's how you do it, okay? Now, get to it, all right? That's the easiest way I found to get it. So hopefully that helps you guys too. It took me like 20 minutes to figure it out. Just saying. All right, let's get back to work. So we got the answers that we wanted and more. Surprisingly, this engine is like extremely good shape internally. So he must have ran it and shut her down. We even have hash marks in the cylinder still. I mean, what more could you ask for? And where is, so one failed lifter right there. That sucker got stuck, ate it up, and yep, all the needle bearings went down in there along with, you know, metal and such. And whenever I took out the drain plug, I have never yet seen this before in my life, but this happened. Those are needle bearings that attach to the drain plug. So, you know, good job, drain plug. The good thing is, this all happened on the very front. It was number 1, actually, right? Left? Right? I don't know. It was the front cylinder here, okay? That feller right there. I actually had to take it out the other way because it wouldn't come up this way. It has a heck of a sharp lip on it, so I'm glad I didn't force it up. We just knocked her back down. It slid out real easily. Don't force these. If they don't come up through the top, take them down through the bottom. Also, remember how I told you guys there were some dowel pins that you could use? I believe they put them right in here. They slide them through, and somehow that also, I think it comes underneath this collar to help hold up the lifters whenever you swap cams. I've never done it. I don't have the wooden dowels, but nonetheless, there are holes right there, and that looks like what they're there for. I've seen it done on other YouTube videos. So if you was just doing a cam swap and you didn't really need to see the other, that's what that's about. So now, since I'm so pleased on this, and I feel confident this feller absolutely, positively told me the truth about it, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna clean him up. We're gonna put a cam in it. The cam bearings look almost new, and I heard that's like never happening. Like, it still has white on the cam bearings. We're sending it. I ain't kidding you. We're gonna send it. Do you think we should? I think we're gonna. We're gonna put out a lifeline call to one of my good friends, Mr. Delmer, over at Herdman's Garage. We're gonna ask him what he thinks. Now, it's hard to tell how many miles this was actually ran. There's no way to know. The good thing is all of the lifter wasn't gone, just, you know, quite a bit. But I mean, think about it. If this thing turns 3,000 revolutions, that cam moved quite a bit, and so did that lifter, you know. And so it didn't really move, so it grinded right there on that thing. Imagine holding a bolt on a grinder. Kind of the same scenario, but I feel really confident this thing is extremely clean. There is no gunk buildup, so that just goes to show you guys, change your oil, change it, take care of your rides. The spark plugs was actually newer. I think maybe he was hoping that it was something, or maybe he just did the pre 200,000 mile tune-up. I don't know. But it actually was taken care of. The valve covers, extremely clean inside. The rockers, everything. Just look at these heads, for Pete's sake. There is no gunk buildup. I mean, I would kind of like to talk to this guy and see what kind of oil he used. But here's your cam. This is an unhappy cam. Look at that, where it stuck. Right there. That must have been the initial point of impact whenever she went go. But that sucker took the brunt of it. I mean, it just, she took an old beating, and it chewed up all the way around. Look at it. Just gnarled her all up, see? But we're going to clean this motor up. We're going to hit it with some freshly rebuilt spray, and depending on what my lifeline tells me, we may just send it the way it is with cam in it, and that's not even close to a joke. So tell me what you think. Good, bad, indifferent. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a horrible idea? You know, I've seen worse. I mean, people just, they don't even do cam swaps sometimes and just throw turbos on these and send them. I have usually never sent anything like this. I don't know. I'm actually feeling like this is a good one to send. Anyway, let me know on the bottom. What do you think? What kind of cam do you think I'm going to put in it? What kind do you think I should put in it? Remember, we're keeping a 5-speed, so we're not going to have to worry about a stall converter. We're just going to have to worry about another transmission to replace that T5. And as always, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Appreciate every one of you. Y'all have a great weekend, and hey, if I'm watching, happy birthday. Have a good weekend, buddy. Love you. We'll see you next time here on Right Turn Garage TV.